What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the A24 Archive. This is the segment on my channel where I go back through A24's entire catalog from the first film they released all the way until I get caught up. And the movie I'm going to be discussing today, I have already seen previously. I watched this several years ago, and I remember the first time I watched this movie that I really enjoyed it. I didn't remember everything about it, but I remembered at least the base of the story and that I enjoyed the performances quite a bit. And the movie I'm going to be discussing with you today is Never Going Back. Never Going Back is directed by Augustine Frizzell. Angela and Jesse are two best friends in love, intent on taking a birthday beach trip. But when Jesse's brother loses all his rent money in a drug scam, the girls, blissfully stoned, go to increasingly daring and absurd lengths to get enough money to survive. So I had already seen this movie once, and I was actually looking forward to revisiting it, and I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I think this movie is exactly what you think it would be. It's a comedy about these two close friends that are high school dropouts that have decided to kind of live on their own, work for their money, that want to take a trip to the beach, and they get into some trouble, and they struggle to get the money that they need to go on this trip, and it's just about all their kind of mishaps and adventures together. And I think the movie kind of gives you exactly what you'd expect, and for that very reason, I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about it today. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to two friends, Angela, played by Maia, and Jesse, played by Camila Morrone. And the two of them, they live together in this house with their brother, and they have a job at this diner that they absolutely hate, but because they dropped out of school, they work really hard together to make enough money to live. And Angela surprises Jesse and says, "Hey, I spent some money booking us this Airbnb at the beach so that we can get away together." And she's like, "Oh, that's amazing, but how are we going to be able to afford it? We don't even have enough money to pay our rent." And she said, "I was able to convince our manager at work to give us extra shifts during the week. So we'll have enough money to both be able to pay the rent and go on this trip together." And they're both super excited about it. And of course, things happen that get them in trouble where they miss their shifts at work. And things progressively start getting worse for the girls to where they have to try to come up with some idea to get enough money so that they can go on this trip together. So, like I said, this movie is about what you would expect it to be, but I say that very complimentary. It's very much a hangout movie with people just having a good time. And I think it starts from the performances. I really like the two lead actresses in this, Maia and Camila Morrone. I think that they really work well together. They feel like friends that have been friends for a long time. Their on screen chemistry is really natural. The way they kind of joke with one another, like just their body language when they're in a room together, it really feels like they've known each other for a really long time. And I think whenever you're doing one of these like buddy comedy movies, the relationship between the two lead characters has to feel natural. It has to feel like two people that you'd believe would spend that kind of time together. And they're really great. There's a lot of moments in this, watching it for my second time, that I really appreciated. I thought it was really funny, especially like in moments where there's more bodily comedy or like reacting to being stoned, just things like that. They're very natural. It doesn't feel like they're trying too hard. It works really well. I also really like a lot of the additional cast members in this. They all have a very distinct personality, and it's really easy to immerse yourself in this world. It's also pretty well shot. I really like the way that it kind of paints the picture of where these people live. It's obviously not the best community. They're doing exactly what they can to survive, but they're obviously high school dropouts. There's some conversations about what's going on with their family or what they'd be worried about happening to them if for some reason they couldn't afford to pay their rent. And so we get a little bit of an idea as to the things that they're trying to overcome to live the type of life that they want to. And they're seemingly trying their best, but I think the movie does a really great job of being like, they're teenagers, they're kids, like they've been sort of forced into adulthood, but they're still going to act like kids. And I think the contrast in that, in their personalities, is what makes the movie work. You can tell they really are trying their best, but they're going to get in trouble because they're kids. And I think that's what makes the movie so entertaining. I really like that there's great one-liners in the movie, but there's also some gross out humor. I feel like feels like a movie from a very different time. I feel like when you think of the era of like Superbad and when movies were coming out, films like that are like stoner buddy comedies with like high school kids getting into trouble and ridiculous humor, that has sort of faded over the years. You get one or two now and again, but a lot of times they don't feel as natural as a lot of those movies did. And I feel like this movie does a really great job fitting into that scheme of like coming of age movies that can also have like gross out about humor, but that are also kind of endearing. And that's what I like about this movie so much, is I feel like endearing is the right word for it. I really like these characters a lot, and even the ones that are more annoying in the movie, I still find there to be this level of charm that makes me keep wanting to watch. Like, I just, while I was watching this, I was like, I could watch like a Netflix season of television about these characters and really enjoy it. It just, the chemistry between them feels so real. And I like some of the ridiculousness of some of the moments, especially like this part of the plot that happens with this couple in this grocery store that they run into, and how it pays off in the third act. I like that it all kind of ties together. And I think what the director does a very nice job on here is, like, obviously they wanted to make a coming of age comedy, but they focused very heavily on character writing. And I think that's where a lot of those comedies fall short, is like, even though we don't know everything about these characters, we get enough of an idea as to who they are as people to make it enjoyable to watch and make you want to root for them, because they're just trying to get by. They're doing their best to live their day-to-day lives, and that's what so many people out there are trying to do. So I think this movie is very relatable in that regard as well. And I just found myself laughing quite a bit at this. Obviously, it's not trying to say something too deep. It's not really trying to make you sit and think for hours after it's over. It's really just meant to provide you an hour and 30 minutes of pure entertainment. And I think it does a really great job of doing that. And if you've ever been on the fence about watching this movie, I definitely think it's a worthwhile addition to A24's catalog. So have you seen Never Going Back? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was very entertaining. I really enjoyed it my second time around, and I think I'll definitely watch it again at some point. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.